There was a report that came out. Quite a few news outlets were saying that if you post on social media, you could invalidate your homeowner insurance, which I found fascinating, right? Because literally you go on Instagram or whatever, especially in the summer, and like you go on stories or like you go on, whatever, the normal post on Instagram, and you're scrolling through it and you just see people like posting, "Hey, I'm in fucking Guatemala. Hey, I'm in Italy, wherever. Hey, I'm in Florida." And people are just posting constantly that like they're away. So homeowners insurance, they actually look at that and they're like, "Oh, Jimbo Smith, he's posting that he's in Florida, but he has a house in New York." So now everyone that lives in New York that knows him and knows where he lives knows that he's not home. So they know now is like a good time to rob him. So it invalidates your insurance. That's some fucking like next level fucking thinking for the insurance providers, especially because I feel like people are so stupid to like tell people. I mean, you're basically all social media is, and I don't care what anyone says. People can argue with me all day, but all social media is like I think it's the government funding a way or funding companies and figuring out a way to get people to like willingly give up their information, and making it socially unacceptable for people that don't do so. I think that's what it is. And I think it's just, as Snowden said, it's just social media companies are just surveillance companies that found like a clever way to rebrand. And I think when he said that, I was like, that's it. Like he hit the fucking nail on the head. And I just find it funny how, I mean, people are just so willing to like give up all this information to go as far as to show people for really brownie points, right? Like social points, whether that's in the form of like engagement on a post or like someone slides up on the story and responds or like whatever to show your friends and family. It's like people are willingly going out of their way to like put their possessions or put their family or like put their community at risk just for like the social validation. I find that to be so bizarre. It just shows how weird the world is now, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just called out all the sheeple in the world. You just called them out, calling out all the sheeple. But
Well, it's like the great Little Uzi Vert says, modern day philosopher. He has a song and it's called "Erase Your Social." And in the song, if you read between the lines, he's saying that he only has social media because he's like a big time like famous rapper, and he needs it for promo. And he says that if he was just a regular person, he wouldn't be on it. So he says the whole point of the song is he says erase your social, like don't even bother with social media. And he's right. And there's a whole lot of other people who are like famous or popular or whatever, and they've gone as far as like outsourcing control of their social media and just handing all of it over to PR people, and then just kind of telling them like, yeah, I guess you could put that up. Like that would be cool to put up to show everyone or whatever. And they like distance themselves from it. And I totally get it. Like the average person doesn't need fucking social media. Like you don't need to tell people I'm on vacation, come fucking rob me. Like or I'm on vacation, look what I did. Like it's just a highlight reel. It's not reality. No one ever posts on Instagram like, "Oh, I had a tough time at work today," or like, "Oh, I'm so fucking bored," or like whatever. No one does that, and the only people that do that are the people looking for attention. So anyway, that's just my piece about that. I just felt like I had to say that.
no, but yeah, I agree with you. If someone's stupid enough to do that, they should have their home insurance policy canceled. You shouldn't be posting online that you're away. That's making yourself a target to get robbed. And you should have your home insurance policy canceled for doing something that's stupid because you're just a moron. You're an absolute moron and you're a character for doing something like that. But yeah, social media, it's a huge problem in today's society. You see these people, they're wasting their whole day away on social media. They're not getting jobs. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And their finger keeps going up. They're getting scoliosis of their finger because they keep scrolling so much, and it's a never ending loop of scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. The only reason you should have social media is if you have a business and you're advertising something and you need the social media page to basically get a lower customer acquisition cost to sell your product. You shouldn't have social media to keep in touch with your friends and do this and that. If you have friends, you should basically have a direct contact to them, and you don't need a social media platform to connect with them. All of this, like, oh, we need to stay connected, stay connected, stay connected. And Facebook's mission, if you don't have their number or you basically you don't see them that often, then you should be disconnected from them. You should basically swift away. You don't need to stay connected with somebody that you met 55 years ago, and you're basically 70 years old. This interconnected world, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, and even if you look at that, I love that you said that. Even if you look at like actual like science behind this, right? Or like psychology, like human psychology. I love human psychology and science in general. I mean, I'm sure that everyone knows that by this point. But even if you take it a step further and you look at like there's a theorem, and it's not a theorem, but it's like a psychological concept, I guess is a better way to put it. And it's basically this thing. It's called Dunbar's number, and it's like the number of relationships that you can actively maintain before hitting a point of like diminishing return and essentially spreading yourself too thin. And Dunbar's number is 120. So if you look at like Facebook or Twitter, or not really Snapchat, but it's really like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, like most people have more than 120 people on there. So it's like this whole weird thing where it's like you don't really know everyone you're connected to, so why are you bothering? You know? And I'm totally with you. Anyone you don't talk to on a regular basis or somewhat regular basis, like there's no reason to have them on any social media. There's no reason to have any sort of, you know, ancillary method of like contact. Like there's literally no point at all. It just seems so foolish that people go out of their way to do that, like to connect with people, old classmates or whatever. It's nice to see every once in a while. You're like, oh, I used to know someone. I wonder what they're up to, and then you see they're doing it right. You know, but you know what I like? I like when you do that and that happens. But like you run into someone at the store, or like you run into someone, at the park, and I don't need you on Facebook. I don't need you on Twitter. I don't need you on Instagram. Like, I hope you're doing well and I hope everything's going good, but it's like, I don't care that much about it that I want it in my face every day.